It is August 2023, and it is amazing to find out that COBOL is ranked at the 15th position on the TOB Index, the site that ranks the top programming languages in use in the world today. COBOL was released in 1959, and after more than 6 decades, it is still being used across the world and its latest standards revised in 2023. As of today, 800 billion lines of COBOL code run on production systems in daily use, and the COBOL codebase is only growing by the day so much that COBOL could easily last the next decade and longer. COBOL supports mission-critical applications in banking, insurance, retail, energy, and even the Internal Revenue Service in the U.S. During the pandemic, there was a shortage of COBOL programmers as many of them had retired from work. Several key services, and particularly one related to the disbursement of funds by the Internal Revenue Service, had to be done on a war footing. COBOL is here to stay, and the need for skilled COBOL programmers is more vital now.
Companies such as Micro Focus and Fujitsu actively develop and market their flavors of COBOL that meet the IT and business requirements of today. The open-source GNU COBOL project released their latest COBOL compiler on the 28th of July. We think there was never a better time than now to learn COBOL. On this channel, we'll teach you COBOL from the basics and beyond. We'll begin with COBOL 85 and a simple IDE running the latest GNU COBOL compiler. We'll then gradually move on to the other tools and the latest COBOL versions and flavors. Along with the instructional videos, we'll also give you the tested code and data files. And most importantly, we'll also give you the flowcharts associated with the programs. We believe this is the fastest and the easiest way to learn COBOL. So first, let's go ahead and install the Open COBOL IDE on your Windows PC. Links to the downloads are displayed on the screen and also mentioned in the description below. From the website mentioned in the link, click the Open COBOL IDE 4.7.6 Windows Setup Installer file, and the program is downloaded to your computer. The Microsoft Edge browser downloads the file to the Downloads folder of your computer. Locate the downloaded file and double-click it to run it to install the compiler. You could also run the downloaded file by clicking Open File here. If you are prompted with the User Account Control dialog, click Yes to give permission to install the Open COBOL IDE on your computer. Then on the opening window of the installer, select the I accept the agreement radio button and click Next. Click Next on the subsequent windows as shown, and on the Select Additional Tasks window, check the Create a Desktop Shortcut checkbox and click Next. Finally, click Install and the IDE is installed on your computer. Click Finish and the program is opened on your desktop. Click About and look under the GNU COBOL tab. Note that the COBOL compiler being used by the IDE is version 2.0. This needs to be updated to the latest version, 3.2. For this, proceed to the site displayed on the screen. It is also mentioned in the description below. On the web page, scroll down to the GNU COBOL Compiler Install Binaries section. Here click on the zipped file of the new GNU COBOL 3.2 VBI release to download the files for Windows. This page is constantly updated, so the latest file may be different from the file of this video today. From the Downloads folder, move the file to a folder of your choice. We have moved the zipped file to a folder named GNU COBOL Compiler. The contents of this file need to be extracted, and for this, we need to use a program called 7-zip. Go to the website mentioned in the link and download the 64-bit file. If you are not sure about 64-bit or 32-bit, download the 32-bit file. Install the program as we did with the IDE program. Next, right-click the zipped file, and from the shortcut menu click Open With. Search your computer for the 7-zip file manager program. It is located under the C Program Files 7-zip folder. Here, make sure you select the 7ZFM program and click Open. The 7-zip program opens, and the contents of the zipped file are displayed. Click Extract. The folder where the extraction is going to be made is mentioned. Make sure it reads GNU COBOL Compiler. Click OK and the contents of the zipped file are extracted. Next, let us link the latest compiler we extracted to the Open COBOL IDE. For this, open the IDE, click on Preferences, and then on the Compiler tab. Here, we alter the paths of the environment variables to point to the folders of the latest compiler. Let's begin with the path variable. Notice that it points to the bin folder. To obtain the path of the latest compiler, double-click on the bin folder that we extracted from the zipped file to open it. Point the mouse to the empty section of the path. Click to display the full path in a format that can be copied and pasted. Copy the path by pressing Ctrl-C. Now go back to the Compiler tab, select the contents of the Path Variables field, and paste the path you copied by pressing Ctrl-V. Similarly, change the paths of the other variables to point to the location of their respective folders of the latest compiler. It must finally look as this. Now, to check if the new compiler is working, click Check Compiler. The pop-up reflects the latest compiler version 3.2. Click Check Compilation, and if all went well, you should see the message, Compiler Works. Click OK to close the pop-up. Click OK again on the Preferences window to save the changes. We have now successfully installed the COBOL IDE and linked it to the latest GNU COBOL Compiler. We are now ready to run COBOL code. Look out for our next video where you'll learn your first COBOL program. Give us a thumbs up if you liked this video and subscribe to our channel to be notified of upcoming videos coming soon.